Hello, 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 my loves. As always, I hope that this live or this replay finds you well and in excellent spirits. Happy Monday, and welcome to another edition of the weekly Astro Forecast live here in the Astro Room on YouTube. I am your host and your favorite astrologer, Mel of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So if this is our first time meeting, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. This channel is everything astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So, if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, or if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, my love. So, this is the weekly astro forecast for the week of October 13th through October 19th, 2025. All right. So, before we get into everything, I have a little bit of a new setup. So I wanted to just make sure that you guys can hear me okay, you can see me okay, everything looks clear and whatnot. If that is the case and you're here live right now, please put a thumbs up so I know that I sound okay and or so I know I'm not talking to myself. Okay. But in any event, happy Monday. I have a very important question to ask you, especially as we start off this week. What would it look like for you personally if you turned your magnetism and your power of attraction all the way the fuck up? I want you to take a second and think about that. I pose this question because the astrology for this week wants you empowered, it wants you pretty. It wants you showing up and being social. But most importantly, the energy of this week is all about transformation, but maybe not in the way that you're used to, or not in the way that you may be anticipating. All right. And so we are going to dive really deep into that in tonight's live so that you can take advantage of this energy in the best way possible. All right. But before we get into all of that, of course, housekeeping and announcements. So if you are joining me here in the live this evening, thank you so much for tuning in. I sincerely appreciate you. Say hi on the way in. And if you are ready for a change and you are ready to attract some magical shit into your life, I want you to put some heart emojis in the chat. So I know you're here, I know you're listening, and I know that you are ready. Because, baby, the universe is ready for you this week. All right. And if you are watching this on the replay, I appreciate you just as much. Hopefully, you find what you are looking for with this broadcast, whether it's information, maybe you're astro curious and you want to know a little more. Maybe you're looking for confirmation. Maybe you just want to know what the astro weather is looking like this week so you can get your life together. Either way, if you find any of that information in this broadcast, definitely hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell if you haven't already. And if you are ready for transformation in the best way possible, put some heart emojis in the comments so I know that you are here, you're watching, and you're ready. All right, all right. And so, let's see in terms of announcements. So, of course, we are still going strong with our. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. You guys are so ready. And trust me, the universe is ready for you too. All right. So, our 31-day money and astrology series is still going strong. As a matter of fact, today is day 13. And today we talked all about Venus and Saturn. But, honey, there is so much more coming. I definitely don't want you to miss it. So the link to the playlist is in the description box below. Check it out. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I am doing 31 days of money and astrology videos here on YouTube, where every day I am teaching you something about your natal chart or perhaps another chart related to your natal chart that can help you change your financial story. All right. So tune in, set notifications. I'm dropping videos every day at 7 p.m. Eastern. Binge watch the playlist. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. There's a giveaway. A link to that is in the description box below. There's a quiz that you can take if you want to know more and you want to get more content and more information or even ask questions. Join me over in Cosmic Collective, which is my online private community where I'm giving you bonus material related to this 31-day I don't want to call it a challenge. It's more of a series, but you get bonus material. I go live there every Friday. Plus, you get some special extra goodies. All right. And you get to ask questions over there. So join us over there if you want a little more, if you're still hungry for more. All right. And we are still in Libra season. And this is important because the ruler of Libra is actually moving into Libra today, which is a pretty big deal. But I'll get into that in a second. But we're still in the midst of Libra season, and that can only mean one thing: aligning with beauty, balance, and relationships. So, this is the season that we get to focus on relationships. Whether you want to get into a new one, mend an existing one, fine tune relationships, those are the topics that the universe is giving to us right now. And so maybe you're trying to think about, okay, well, how can I improve my relationships? What can I do? So if you're looking to align with the energy of Libra, then you will want to get my I have a habit of pressing the wrong button on my stream deck. I still don't know how to get it together, but I'm trying. I'm trying. In any event, get that digital ritual kit for Libra season. You won't be disappointed. Yes. You said you lost my Oh, you know what? I also think that it was muted. Did you hear anything I said about the Libra key? Oh my goodness. When it comes to tech, I try my best, but honestly, sometimes I'm just not. Can you not hear me right now? Am I on? Can you hear me now? I think when I switched over to the Libra key information, I was muted, but I think it looks like so you're not hearing me now, huh? Okay. You see me clearly. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. So tech is not necessarily the best of friends with me right now, but I was explaining the Libra key is my Libra season digital ritual kit where you can really attune to the frequency of Libra. It is a PDF guide that's got information, it's got journal prompts, it's got rituals for you to engage with, and then I have a short guided meditation that you can listen to attune to the frequency of Libra. All right, so if you're interested, link is in the description box below as well as tagged to this video. All right, so in terms of announcements, that's pretty much it. So now let's get into the week. And I am excited. I don't know about you, but so far this week has started off on a really, really high note. And that is because Venus is entering her home sign of Libra. But not just that, we've got Pluto in the mix, which leads us to our theme for the week, which is magnetic as fuck. Okay. When you put Venus and Pluto together, honey, that is like turning yourself into the biggest magnet possible and drawing whatever it is that you want to you. And the configuration of Venus and Pluto this week is very positive. Very, very positive, overwhelmingly positive. And so you really want to, the best way to take advantage of this energy is to not only keep your thoughts positive, but you also want to keep your eye to the future. It's one of those transits, and we're in one of those times where the work that you do right now I mean, this is always the case. The work that you do right now, the structures that you set up right now are really setting you up for the future. But that is even more true with Pluto's current placement. Pluto is currently in Aquarius, and Aquarius is the sign of the future. And Pluto in Aquarius, sort of the flavor of it, or at least one of the flavors of it, is that you can, the transformation and the changes that you're willing to take on right now are going to ensure a much different future. Now, of course, that's always the case, but with Pluto there, the transformation and the changes that you're taking now are more pronounced, they're more profound. And then when you add Venus in the mix, with Venus being a positive planet, you have the ability to make positive changes right now in a way that is a lot more pronounced and emphasized than during other times, right? But essentially, I want you to picture yourself as a magnet. And, magnets attract, uh, do they attract opposites or do they attract the same? Clearly, tech and science are not my thing, but we attract what we are a vibrational match to, correct? And with the astrology this week and you being like a huge magnet, you are attracting your vibrational frequency in a very intense sort of way. And so that means that whatever you're focusing on, whatever you value, for better or for worse, is what's being magnetized to you this week. So it begs the question. It begs two questions, actually. Number one, what are you focusing on? What frequency are you on? What is it that you value? And are you embodying that value? Are you speaking that value? Are you expressing that value? I'll give you a perfect example. We all want money. Everyone wants money. Everyone wants more money. However, oftentimes what people say is not what they believe. And with Venus not only moving into her home sign of Libra, but Libra being an air sign, what we say, what we think, what we believe is being focused, is being emphasized right now. So people will say, I want $1 million. I want to be a millionaire. I want to have this, that, and the third. But it's not a value that they embody. And of course, probably because they've never been a millionaire before. So it could be difficult to embody something you've never been. I get it completely, right? But this is the week where your embodiment, your beliefs, what you're saying and what you're thinking, they all need to be on the same page. Because when they are, it's like they literally align and then it's like a direct route right to you. So take some time, especially tonight, because this particular energy is most potent between today and tomorrow. Take some time tonight to think about, what are you valuing? What is it that you want to attract to you? And attract is the key word. And this is something that could feel a little, I'm not going to say uncomfortable for the most part, but I will say this. Many of us have issues with receiving. Many of us have issues with embodying. Many of us have issues with standing still and allowing things to come to you. And it's not completely your fault because of the way society is set up. It's like you got to go, you got to push, you've got to hustle, you've got to grind, you got to go out and get it. If there's nothing else that you get from tonight's broadcast, get this, understand this. This energy of change, at least right now, is overwhelmingly feminine, with all the nuances that come with feminine energy. Feminine energy doesn't go out and chase. She doesn't go out and hunt. She doesn't go out and kill, right? You understand what I mean, not literally, figuratively. She is, and by virtue of being, what she wants comes to her. I want you to think of yourself as a queen or even a king sitting on a throne. Everyone comes to court to give them things, to give them news, to advise them. They don't go anywhere. It's always other people who are meeting them where they are at. That's what you want to embody. And how exactly do you do that? You act as if whatever it is already yours. That's how you create a vibrational match to the thing that you want. Don't wish for it. Don't hope for it. Don't say, oh, I really want that. That creates distance. So now you wishing, you wanting puts that thing farther and farther out of your reach. You have it already. Now it's attracted to you. Remember, like attracts like. So, especially this week, and some of us may need to do a little energetic cleanup this week. Okay. So, whether you are, I'm hearing like for some, you may need like a spiritual bath, right? For some, you may need to do some meditation. For some, you may need to do some clearing work so that you're not attracting a whole bunch of wonky shit, right? Like you're attracting exactly what it is that you want, exactly what it is that you're a vibrational match for, not a whole bunch of sort ofs and could be's and maybes, right? So especially tonight, and even if you're seeing this later on in the week, it's not too late. This energy is most potent between today and tomorrow, meaning Monday and Tuesday, but the energy is still going to be around for a little bit, right? So take advantage of it. Clean yourself up a little bit and then focus on what it is that you want to align with because we're all magnetic all the time. But it's like the universe is like, I want you to turn that shit all the way up right now. Maybe make it into, I was having a conversation with my sister the other day, and when you really get into manifestation, I'm not talking about manifestation hacks or manifestation techniques. I'm talking about the ideology behind manifestation, and that is that you create your reality. You're the god of your reality, right? When you really understand what that means, it can be very overwhelming and very daunting because now you take personal responsibility and accountability for everything that happens in your life. It's not to say that you blame yourself, that you're at fault, but circumstances are under your control. So whether something good or bad happens, you created it, right? So it can feel very daunting. It can feel overwhelming, especially when you're like getting your sea legs, right? When you're really testing it out in the real world. Hey, all yeah, my sister just joined. Perfect timing, right? So it can be very daunting. And so one of the things that I like to do is I like to kind of gamify things or just take the pressure off of things, right? So with Venus moving into Libra and Libra being very social, make this into like an accountability thing, but not accountability where you've got someone who's breathing down your neck. Like make it a fun game between you and a friend. So pick a partner, right? and if they're not currently watching this or they're not subscribed to the channel, send them this video, send them this live so that they can watch it, so that they can take part of this. Pick a partner and make a game out of it, right? Say, I bet that I can manifest this. And you may want to start off with something small and then move your way up. And between the two of you, see what you can manifest and even help each other manifest, right? So, one of the things that I like to do, and I've actually done this with my sister, is like, I believe that Neville, if you're familiar with Neville Goddard, is the telephone method. And it is like, imagine that you manifested the thing that you always wanted and you're telling somebody, like you're telling your sister or your friend or whomever, and they're like congratulating you. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. That's so great. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations," all that stuff. So what me and my sister did was we recorded voice memos and sent them to each other. Like, "Hey, congratulations on this. Congratulations on that," right? Maybe that's something that you want to engage in this week. I mean, no pressure. This is meant to be fun. But if you're looking for a way to practically use this energy and maybe you're just getting started, that's kind of a good way to go about it. So maybe you want to partner up and make a little game out of it. I think that would be great. But either way, the magnetism is on full blast this week. It's also very powerful. Okay. It reminds me of in Harry Potter, I believe is probably the first one. When he first gets his wand and the thing is so powerful and he can't even control it, right? It may feel like that. The energy may feel like that. Focus, harness. Try not to stretch yourself too thin or pull yourself in too many directions. Focus on one thing and focus all of that magnetic energy on it. I really think that these things will come to pass. Okay. So, with that being said, let's get into the astrology this week and talk a little bit more about that. And of course, we start off with Venus entering Libra, which is actually happening today. So, Venus is at home in Libra. Libra is the home sign or one of the home signs for Venus. So, Venus is not only attractive, she's magnetic and she's potent because she's at home. She's comfortable. She can be herself. All of her qualities are uninhibited, maybe even unhinged a little bit, but Venus power is potent. So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to locate where Libra is in your natal chart. This is where you can get a boost of positivity, relationship benefits. Benefits sounds like friends with benefits, although that could be something. So hey, who knows? Um You could experience positivity in relationships. You could experience positivity with money. Libra is sort of the lucky house this week. So, wherever that is in your natal chart is where you're going to be experiencing some Venusian kind of energy. Venus in Libra wants you to show up looking your best. Now, that could feel a little intimidating or it could feel a little daunting, right? Especially if, you're not someone who is very much into aesthetics, or maybe you're going through a difficult time and showing up looking your best isn't necessarily a priority, but that will also help magnetize things to you. For all of my spiritual baddies and all of my witches, glamour magic, now, now. That is really going to call everything into you. Now, to my Libra risings, I want you to be seen. I want you to put yourself out there and I want you to be looking your best. Venus is transiting your first house. This means that pretty privilege is yours. Now, with the rest of the astrology for this week, particularly with Venus and Pluto, pussy power is really a thing too. So use your discretion, be safe out there. But this is what we're dealing with this week. And it's beautiful. I don't know if you can feel it because we're actually experiencing it right now. So we have a comment here. It says Libra hovers between my seventh and eighth house. Ooh, juicy and sexy. Okay. That's relationships and it is intimacy and all of that stuff and other people's money. So if you're trying to get something from someone else, show up, look the part. Now, this doesn't mean you have to put on a ton of makeup. It doesn't mean that you have to be all gussied up, but show up in your best, like present yourself well, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's a power suit. Maybe it's a nice dress. Maybe it's your best perfume, right? Show up, show out, be social, and things will really start to magnetize themselves to you. Now, the other part of Venus and Libra is social, right? Venus and Libra loves to go out. Now, I am very familiar with Libra energy. I have a Libra stellium, and I've always attracted Libras in my life. Now, whether it's Libra Sun or Libra Venus, I don't know a Libra that's not always in the streets. And I mean that in the best way possible. They're always out and about. They know a ton of people. They can strike up a conversation with anybody, right? Now, this isn't to say that you have to, I don't want you to think that in order for you to have the things that you want, you've got to put on a ton of makeup, get dressed, go outside, be social if you don't want to. The thing about Venus is that she embodies herself. She wants to feel good. When you feel good and you look good and you even smell good, doesn't life seem a little better, right? You can attract someone either for a partner, a friend, for business when you look your best, when you feel your best, right? That's all that Venus and Libra wants to give you. Okay. And she wants to give it to you in the best way possible. Above all else, make yourself feel good. Allow yourself to feel good. And this transit is going to last for the next month, so she's sticking around for a little bit, but her her dance with Pluto right now is really where this potent energy is at. All right. So keep that in mind. So that's the first thing that we got. Then the second thing that we have, which is also happening today, is Pluto going direct in Aquarius. Now, this is huge because Pluto just recently took up residency in Aquarius. So the flavor is different. We're very much concerned with the future. We're making changes now so that we have a better future, right? And it's this energy of, okay, it can be very mental. Keep in mind that even though Aquarius is symbolized as the water bearer, Aquarius is actually an air sign. So it deals with ideas, communication. It's like Aquarius wants you to make a plan for the future. And in planning for the future, a natural question that arises is, well, what do I need to change now? There's a certain amount of structure and discipline inherent in Pluto and Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, that's the modern ruler, but the traditional ruler of Aquarius is Saturn. And Saturn is all about structure. So, what structure are you going to enact today? What structure are you building today? Or even given the realm of Pluto, what structure are you demolishing today so that you can have a better future? Pluto is all about transformation. Pluto understands the cycle of life, that there is birth, there's death, and then it just goes round and round over and over again. But keep in mind that as much as you can be enmeshed in what's going on and what you're changing right now, think of the future, plan for the future. Okay. So Pluto going direct in Aquarius. This is also happening on a collective scale as well, because Aquarius is the sign of the collective. So Pluto going direct in Aquarius, wherever Aquarius is in your natal chart is where you can enact change, where you can experience death and rebirth and transformation on a personal level. But Aquarius is the sign of the collective. And so what this means is that there may be external changes and transformations to the collective that may change how you think about things. It may change how you think about the future. It may change who you associate with, who's in your group, right? Who you identify with. Okay. So all of these things are kind of happening at once. But needless to say, Pluto retrograde for the last couple of months, we were taking that transformative energy and directing it inward. Now that Pluto is going direct, change can happen externally. And then that leads me to our final transit. It's not the final transit of the week, but just so you know, if you're new around here and this is perhaps your first live with me, I detail the most important transits for the week. Now, if you've been with me for a while, I used to do all of the transits for the week, and I think that that was a little overwhelming. So now I focus on two or three that are really of relevance for the week. Okay, so the last one that we're going to discuss is the heavy hitter, is Venus trine Pluto. This is when I asked you if you want to turn your magnetism all the way the fuck up, it was this transit that I was specifically thinking about because this transit is transformation. I want you to think about it as like soft power. Apart from transformation, Pluto has a lot to do with power and control. Now, we're very much conditioned in a very masculine sort of way, right? You go out and get things. You change if you want to change something, you change it externally or you try to exert your power on other people to change. If that is how you are approaching this transit, you are going to be very disappointed and very frustrated because the crux of the energy surrounding this transit is soft power, feminine power. And what that really entails is if you want things to change, you got to change yourself and embody that change, right? I talked before about Venus and Libra and how, show up looking your best. Maybe that's a change that could really work out for you long term because looking your best can do a lot for your aesthetics, obviously, but can also do a lot for your morale, for your energy. And perhaps that's something that you want to change. Like maybe you're someone who, and I'm not, this is not to judge or throw shade. These are just random examples. Maybe you don't make your bed in the morning. Maybe you wake up just in time to slap some shit together and go about your day. And then you're running, you're ripping and running all up in the streets and you're looking however, and that's fine. But maybe this transit is a call back to yourself. Now, listen, when we're making changes, especially when we're talking about Pluto, these changes are not like all at once. It's a slow burn. Okay. So maybe first couple of days, you wake up, you fix your bed. The next couple of days, maybe you want to, put on the lip gloss and a little mascara. Right? Maybe you want to, you know, in a couple of days, you pick out your outfit, pick out something nice and prepare it the night before so that even if you are waking up late, you know exactly what you want to wear, right? Little steps. Again, Venus and Libra wants you to feel good. And Venus trine Pluto wants you to change some shit. Okay. Now, keep in mind that Venus will be in Libra or is in Libra. Pluto is in Aquarius. These are both air signs. So apart from just looking your best, this transit is also great for changing dynamics in relationships, how you communicate, how you express yourself, and perhaps even plans for the future. Now, this goes for all types of relationships, but the best ones I feel like that'll benefit the most from this energy are like romantic relationships and business relationships, since Venus has to do with money. So, if you want to renegotiate a contract, like a brand deal, a sponsorship, a partnership, joint venture, now would be a great time to do that. Okay. Especially if you felt like you got the short end of the stick, um, things weren't working out in your favor. Venus and Libra also wants you to balance the scale. So this would be a great time to do that. Mending relationships, extending an olive branch to somebody, as difficult as it may be, the universe can kind of configure things around with this particular transit to make it a little less arduous, or perhaps to soften that person's heart so that they are receptive to what you have to say, or vice versa. So it's really great for mending relationships. And if you're trying to start a new one, if you're trying to get booed up, baby girl, get yourself together, sit in a nice place, and wait for people to come to you. This is one of those transits where you can literally do that. Okay. Allow yourself to be seen, allow yourself to be social. There's also a very prominent friendship element with this as well. So, forming new friend groups, strengthening friendship bonds, having your friends help you change. Didn't I just say earlier, having an accountability partner when it comes to manifesting? That kind of goes with this. Like, if you really want to change some things, going about it with another person or maybe even a group of people, like if you've got a mastermind, if you've got an online community, kind of like mine. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. If you got one of those, reach out. Reach out and touch somebody. Manifest together. The astrology and the cosmic weather definitely facilitates that. All right. So, those are the transits that are most prominent this week. And so I hope you understand how powerful that is. And I want you to really sit with the energy. Okay. So I want you to be very observant. Before you even start manifesting anything, see what is naturally attracted to you right now, especially between today and tomorrow. Who's calling you? Who's talking to you? What's coming up? That'll clue you in as to what vibrational frequency you're at, and then you can make changes from there. All right. But either way, powerful week. If you want something, attract it to you. You definitely, definitely can. All right. So now we get to the portion of the live that I call the creator's compass. And this is where I basically give you strategy for the week, okay, based on the astrology. And I separated into two categories. We've got business and creative, and then we've got personal development. All right. So first, let's talk about business. So Venus in Libra, cooperation, collaboration, first and foremost. This is a great week to not go at it alone. If you want to reach out to somebody, oh, sorry. I love, love, love how spirit works with me. I'm guided to do something this week, and I felt like spirit was really pushing me today. I realized why. Collaborate, reach out, shoot your shot. Whether it's business, whether it's personal, do that. Okay. But in terms of business, collaboration, number one, elevate your presentation. If you are presenting, if you are pitching, if you are doing anything where you need to express yourself, what you do, what you offer, polish it up. Okay. Branding, visuals. That is the realm of Libra. Libra loves a great aesthetic. So if you want to polish up your logo, polish up your presentation, fun fact, if you didn't know this, Instagram is actually a Libra. So Instagram started, I believe, on October 9th or something like that, back in I think 2010 or 2011. So Instagram is a Libra, okay? Which makes complete sense when you really think about it. If you want to devise a new Instagram strategy or just really polish up your branding and your visuals, this is going to be the week to do that, okay? Partnerships and also focusing on client experience. Oftentimes, especially, if you're an entrepreneur, you're always focused on your product, your service, your visuals. But it's very important to get feedback with respect to how does your client feel about it? You could be throwing things at them. You're either throwing too much at them, they're not connecting with whatever you're throwing out there. The client experience is really something to think about and hone in on with this particular transit, okay? Now, with Pluto direct, revisit power dynamics in collaborations, okay? So I said before, Pluto is the planet of power and control. Venus in Libra, not only does she want a good aesthetic, not only does she want you to show up, she wants things to be balanced. I'm talking about real balance. I give to you, you give to me in equal measure or whatever you agree upon. But balance is definitely a thing here. So, with Pluto going direct, revisiting power dynamics in relationships is a great thing. And this sort of goes back to what I was saying before about how if you want to renegotiate a contract because maybe it is inequitable. And I'll say this as an attorney, and when I was practicing, I was doing transactional work. So, I worked with entrepreneurs, structuring their businesses, creating contracts for them for various things. um, Oftentimes when you create a contract and you contemplate what goes in a contract, you have this idea. It's this ideal that you're essentially reducing down to paper. But it's not until you act according to that contract that you realize whether it makes sense or not. So it's in the practice of it, not the putting together of it. And so maybe you had a contract which seemed right at the time, which made sense. But now after 6 months, after a year, you're like, yeah, this isn't working. I don't do these things. I don't want to do these things. Or maybe the pay is not enough, or I'm paying too much. It's great to revisit those kind of dynamics, right? And release outdated control patterns. Pluto wants us to Part of the transformation is getting rid of what doesn't serve you. And what doesn't serve you can be bad habits, obsession, low vibrational energy, right? There's a time and a place for those things. But when we're talking about transformation on a plutonic scale, you're taking out the rot, you're taking out what's rotten, what doesn't work. And if that has to do with power, manipulation, and control, you're going to want to check yourself, especially with Pluto going direct. I think that the universe might just check you. Okay. So then we move on to Venus trine Pluto. This is a great week for launches, particularly if you do something creative, if you do something financial, or if you have products. Okay. This is going to be a great week to launch. Now, don't worry if you've got something in development. There are other opportune times and other opportune transits where you could launch. But if you've been wondering, should I put this out? And I'm not talking about big scale launch, right? Those take time to prepare. I'm talking about maybe you actually want to go live. Maybe you actually want to post that post or start that Substack or something like that. This would be a great week to do that. Pitch is invisibility. This is the time to put yourself out there. And when you're putting yourself out there, try to look your best. And I'm saying this to myself as well, because right before I started this live, I was like, you know what? And I say this every week. Okay. I'm like, I don't owe anyone a made up face. I can just show up as I am. And then I looked at myself on camera and I was like, no, the fuck I can't. Especially not today. Girl, you better put your hair together, put some makeup on, look presentable. Now, again, you don't have to do a full beat, and your hair looking all crazy with $1,000 wig. Just look nice, look presentable, show up. Show up pretty polished and prepared. Okay. Magnetic energy attracts opportunities. So if you're looking to make a change, which is the realm of Pluto, you're going to want to put yourself out there and magnetize some things to you. That's what's going to open the doors to opportunities, which is going to facilitate change. All right, so that's everything on the business and creative side. Now, let's talk about personal development and spirituality. So, first, let go of struggle energy, honey. Oh, now we're on day 13 of my money and astrology series, and this is the week since last Wednesday, I've been talking all about Venus. And one of the hallmark characteristics of Venus, and this is even more so the case because she's in her home sign of Libra. She loves ease and harmony. The facilitation of this change should be done in a manner that is easy and harmonious. If you've got to push, if you've got to pull, if you've got to do the most, that ain't it, especially right now. So if you have this mentality, because again, Venus is in Libra, Pluto's in Aquarius, air signs. They deal with ideas, communication, beliefs, even. If you have this mentality of, I gotta work for it, I gotta get it out of the mud, I gotta do X, Y, and Z, it's hard, it's arduous, stop, especially this week. This is the week of the soft life, the easy life. So get rid of that struggle energy. It's not cute, babes. Not cute at all. Next, reclaim sensual confidence and self worth. Okay. And I was thinking about this as I was preparing for this live. I was like, well, Venus in Libra is sexy. And then I was like, no, Venus in Libra isn't necessarily sexy. Venus in Libra is pretty. Venus in Scorpio is sexy. It's not to say that Venus in Libra can't be sexy, but Venus is very sensual. Okay. So this is a great week to tap into that, to up your self worth. If you need to listen to some subliminal, some guided meditations to get you in the frequency of feeling good about yourself, you might want to do that. Okay. So reclaim sensual confidence and self worth. And then finally, use your presence as your power. You are the gift, at least this week. The way that the astrology is set up, this week you are the gift. Your presence is the gift. So show up and shine. Let people know who you are, what you do, what you're about. Strike up a conversation, make some new friends, be social. You never know. A friend of a friend of a friend may need something, or a friend of a friend of a friend knows just the right person for you. This is not the week to be in hermit mode. It's not the week to be just in the house, right? Put yourself out there, put your best foot forward, and magnetize some new opportunities to you. All right. So now we move on to the portion of the broadcast that I call the altar call. And so I can't very well talk to you about the astrology without giving you a little homework, without giving you something to take with you. All right. So, first, let's talk about this week's journal prompt. And that is, where in my life can I stop forcing and start magnetizing? Again, this energy is overwhelmingly feminine. This isn't about attacking. It isn't about pulling or pushing or hustling and grinding. It's about magnetizing, especially if there's something that you want, right? If there's something that you really desire at this point in time. Have you been doing the most? Have you been pushing and pulling? Have you been exerting a lot of energy? If you have, this would be a great week to stop. Not just because we're talking about magnetism, but if you've already put forth energy, stand still and watch it come back to you like a boomerang, right? But in any event, screenshot this, write this down. Where in my life can I stop forcing and start magnetizing? All right. So that's tonight's journal prompt. And then our affirmation for this week is I attract with grace. That's another quality of Venus and Libra is grace. That's why Venus and Libra is pretty, not necessarily sexy, right? But in any event, I attract with grace. My power is rooted in peace, not pressure. I'm going to say this again. I attract with grace. My power is rooted in peace, not pressure. This is the mantra that we're living by this week. All right, my loves. So that's pretty much all I've got for you for this week's weekly astro forecast. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going into this week and beyond. All right. Don't forget, join us over in Cosmic Collective to keep the party going. It's $11 a month, but you get a free 2-week trial. So definitely check that out. Link is in the description box below. Check out my playlist for the 31-day money and astrology series. Everything that you need to know, all the goodies that I've got for you, everything is listed in the description box below or even tagged to this video. All right, my loves. Thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you an excellent week. And I hope that you magnetize exactly what you want and everything that your heart truly desires. All right, my love. Have a great week. I'll see you next week. Same time, same place, same great astrological information. All right, my loves. Take care.